channel. Thank you guys so much for joining today. Um, and say hello to Scout. Oh, he's tiny, tiny sneezed. So the topic for today's stream is we are actually going to interview my dad today about the topic of having an unplanned kid. Can you guess who the unplanned kid was? So we're gonna talk about that. And hopefully, if somebody else is going through the same thing, they can get some insight. Obviously, everybody's experiences are different, but I thought that this would be nice to get some perspective about this. And so, as he's referred to a lot by my friends, the legend, my dad. Say hi, Dad.
Hi.
um, thank you so much for joining today, and I really appreciate you having the courage to open up about this stuff. Um, so,
Sure.
uh, what's that?
I said sure, no problem.
Yeah, thank you. So, um, tell me about your initial reaction to finding out about my mom being pregnant with me. Hi, V
Well,
Falcon.
hey,
Oh,
we got people on a thing here.
yeah, V Falcon says hello, Shorty Pop fam, and hello, Mr. Legend.
Oh, hi there. Oh, okay. Okay, I see it now. I see the comments up here. Okay, you guys should be proud of me. I got an old man and I got all this technology shit figured out. I'm up here on Twitch, on the TV, and whatever program this thing's called, Discord. Okay,
Yes, I am
so,
proud. He did it all himself.
all right, so my initial reaction. I was scared. I was scared. Like I didn't know what to do, and it's funny, like thinking about it, because my reaction then is is probably it, because of my philosophical beliefs about being pro-choice. Um, my now. My reaction then would probably be very similar to my reaction now, and because right now, what I believe is that it is 100% the woman's choice of whether or not she should give birth to a child. And I wasn't this deeply, I didn't think about this so deeply back then when I was a kid. I was 20, let's see, 23 at the time. Um, But what I said
Hi,
back
Danny.
then is the same thing I'd say right now. And what I said was, "What do you want to do?" And of course, she said, "I want to have the child," uh, and and I supported that. It was, but my initial reaction was, yes, I was definitely scared. But once Danielle's mother said she wants to have the child, I stood behind her and we figured it out. I supported her and we figured it out together.
I really respect that belief that it should be a woman's choice what she decides to do, and I agree with that. And uh, yeah, I'm glad that you fully supported her either way. Also, I just want to say Londonderry Danny said yes, hello. So thank you, I posted in the chat because I didn't want to cut you off, Dad. But yeah, thank you, Londonderry Danny and V Falcon for joining. Uh, Dad, say hello.
Hi, Londonderry Danny.
um,
I'm interested how you came up with that name. Like, you got some family in London, but you live in Derry Township and your name's Danny, or that's like a really interesting name. But
Oh,
Okay, we're
London.
waiting for your explanation. Let's hear it. We'll just
Yeah,
hang tight here.
I always thought that was just like another way of saying legendary Danny, but
Oh,
that's actually a good question. I never asked, but I like that. Danny Boy, the song is the melody for the theme for Londonderry County in
oh,
Ireland.
okay. Well, how about
Oh,
that?
wow.
You learn
Damn.
something new every day.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thanks for sharing.
Oh,
And
Danny boy, oh, Danny boy. It goes something like that, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
I remember seeing commercials with that song. They used to try to sell those records.
yeah, I'm not even
Okay.
gonna try to sing it. I know I'll
Well,
butcher
now
it.
glad we got that cleared up. Thank you,
we got to the
Londonderry
bottom
Danny.
of it.
Now, every
um.
time I see your name, I'm going to sing that stupid song. Thank you very much.
uh,
Okay.
I like that. Also, my name is Danny, but that never occurred to you, Dad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, oh, the intention wasn't Danny. Hey, I'm losing audio here. What's going on?
I can hear you. Can Are you good?
Oh, okay. Never mind. I saw your lips moving on the Twitch thing, but uh, not on my Discord. Okay, we're
Oh.
cool.
okay.
Hey.
Also, guys in the chat, if you have any questions for my dad, definitely feel free to ask. And dad, if there's anything that you end up not being comfortable with, like obviously you don't have to answer, but definitely feel free to ask whatever you guys are interested in. Um, and dad, my next question for you is
Well, I just want to say one thing here.
yeah.
In case you guys haven't figured out, I like to talk, so don't be afraid to ask a question.
It runs in
All
the
right.
family.
Yeah. Gee,
um,
wonder where that came
uh, Londonderry Danny says, okay, okay, I'll save up questions maybe in case you ask what I think of eventually. Yeah, definitely. At any point, you can post in the chat any questions you have for my dad. He is more than, like he said, he loves to talk, so he's more than welcome, more than happy to get questions from you guys. Um, so, you told me about your initial reaction to finding out about the pregnancy. How did the fact that you guys were having an unplanned child affect your relationship with my mom and both, my mom's family and your family?
Well, it brought us closer. With me and your mom, it brought us closer, and also with your family. When I initially told the news to my mom, uh, she was actually happy, very supportive. Uh, she was very happy for us.
Aw.
When we told the news to your mom's family, okay, there was concern, of course. They were concerned about, how are we going to support a child? We weren't really established ourselves into careers yet, and everything, and so there was some there was concern. And then your nana came over to our house, our apartment, where we, well, it's like a duplex we lived in at the time, and she came over to talk to us, and she, asked me how I felt. And this is a little weird talking about this, but uh, now, of course, because we're divorced and everything. But she asked me, how I, you know, she was just like, like anybody would ask their daughter's, you know, boyfriend if they were pregnant. Like, well, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna handle this and everything? And I guess I think I have a feeling she was concerned that whether or not I was gonna stick around, you know,
Mhm.
and actually be there for the child and support the child. And I assured her that I loved your mother, and that, we were staying together. And she gave me hug, and it was like a really long, like one of those hugs. Like, did you ever hug somebody and then they just don't let go and they keep, and you're like, okay, I'm done, and they're just like, yeah, it was like one of those.
Aw.
So it was, yeah. So it was cool from there on out, and then they were very very supportive, as I'm sure you know,
Yeah.
like super supportive. Like how, get they. It was it was almost crazy because your mom was, well, I mean, to be fair, your mom was like literally like 19 years old. No, she was 18 years old at the time.
No, she was. She. What?
She did not turn, or she was 19.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say, yeah, because she had me at 20. Because
correct. She was,
anytime I
yeah,
need to
yeah,
know her age, I just add
you're
20 to
right.
it.
She was
Um,
19 because it wasn't her birthday yet, but she was pregnant. So yeah, so she was 19 at the time, and so but her parents, your grandpa, Nana and Papa, they actually saved all her stuff from when she was a kid. They saved the crib, they saved the like a changing table, they saved like all this stuff,
wow.
which was nice things, so they gave us those things, so we didn't have to go buy them. Um, in preparation of you coming along, they gave us a lot of those things. So they were very very supportive, and helped throw a baby shower
Aw.
and everything like that for your mom. So they were, so it did help our relationship, and it helped us. It did bring us much closer. And like I said, once they knew where we stood on everything, they were very supportive, and of course on both sides
Yeah.
of the family.
I think that's amazing. Yeah, I know Nana and Papap were both a huge part of, anytime there was a snow day and you guys needed somebody to watch me, anytime you guys were working, or anytime you guys needed a sitter in general, like a huge part of my childhood was spending time with Nana and Papap. And, I, the memories I have with them are just so they'll always hold a special place in my heart. And even growing up, like Nana was there for me when I didn't have people there for me. So I'm very thankful for her, and she's always been a tremendous source of support, and I'm really glad that that's what she was for you guys whenever especially because mom's side of the family is much more conservative, so one might think, oh, an unplanned pregnancy out of wedlock, like, one might think that somebody of that belief system might be upset about it or whatever. But the fact that they were so
Oh,
supportive.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, believe me, that was definitely the the initial reaction that my perception of what it was. But
That's what you were afraid of, or what it kind of was?
I just think it what kind of was, but they got over that pretty quickly.
Well, that's good. Yeah. I know Nana had told me like that Papap's mom never liked her. And so I think maybe part of that, or her parents also had trouble accepting Papap. So I think maybe her having gone through that herself. Well, let me rephrase that. They took a while to accept Papap. So I think having gone through that herself probably helped her to have more of an incentive to establish a positive relationship with you. Uh, and also, as far as your side of the family goes, Lisa was unplanned, right? Um, like,
Lisa, that I don't know because
oh,
her no, because my brother John and his wife were married. Uh,
really?
yeah, they were married actually at the time.
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, I just assumed most of my cousins were unplanned. Like, was Courtney planned? Am I the only
No,
bastard?
no.
Am I
Courtney
the
Courtney was not planned. no.
Okay. Yay, I'm
Courtney
not the
was
only
not planned, but
bastard.
Kiara definitely was. Yeah, Uncle Bobby and Aunt Michelle had been married for quite some time, for a number of years,
Oh.
because Kiara was born after you, and they were married years before I even, met your mom.
Oh. So,
So
oh, but
now 3, 4, 5 years anyhow.
but I that's really not cuz I mean grandma passed, so there's a lot of things that I didn't know about her. Um but knowing how supportive she was, knowing that I was going to be born, I think that I don't know, that really warms my heart.
Yep.
Um yeah. Um so yeah, if you guys have any questions in chat, feel free to ask my dad. He is an open book, and like he said, he loves to talk. It runs in the family. So yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. Um,
Fire away. And also, I see up there what's his name? Vi Falcon or something like that?
yeah, VI Falcon.
VI Falcon. Hi, VI Falcon. We see you there. Okay. Well, that's
um,
cool. I think we're doing a good job because they're just listening. So we'll just,
yeah, we got some more viewers. Um,
cool.
so my next question for you. Oh, Lyndon Dairy Danny says, "I'm just soaking it all in," like that Nicki Minaj song, like seasoning. Let them bitches blow me, Lance Stevenson.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so glad you know the Nicki Minaj lyrics, Dad. You are
Yeah,
even
thanks.
more of a legend for that. Do you remember, side note, do you remember whenever you wanted to make mom mad, so you asked me what that Nicki Minaj song was, where she says, eat my ass like a cupcake so you can put it on?
Oh, I don't remember. No, I don't remember that.
Oh.
We had been divorced, I think, at that time. But anyhow, okay, that's weird.
You brought it up! You were the one that asked me! Shut the fuck up.
Uh,
Uh.
okay, okay, but we you got a little sidetracked here. Let's not share that part.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah, no,
see.
anyhow.
Legendary Danny says, good so far. VI Falcon says, yeah, just enjoying the conversation. Nikki the Claw says, same. It's NPR, except I'm paying attention.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's good.
Thanks for letting us know, guys.
Yep.
Um,
Thanks for listening.
yeah. So my next question for you. How did raising a kid before you planned to and being with a person you didn't initially plan to raise a child with affect your mental health?
Well, you know, I think it it just as far as I think it just made me stronger at the time, and I don't. I mean, I guess it's a whole new thing, and it is stressful and it's difficult raising a child. It's a whole new that I don't care what anybody says, and I don't care how many books you read. There is no manual for raising a kid, and every child is different. And I believe that it's just one of those things. I think parenting is just it's an on the job training. It's just one of those things that you have to learn as you go, and everybody's going to make mistakes, and you work through it, you learn through it, and you just try to, and that's what we did. We just try to figure it out. So as far as it 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 helped me grow as a person, and it helped us grow as a couple, as parents, because it was something that we had to work on together. It's just like if you, and nothing compares to raising a child, first of all. So I'm not trying to trivialize this or minimize it or anything, but it's just like if you were in college or if you're in a group at work and you have to work on a task with somebody on a project and solve a problem together. It naturally brings you closer together because you kind of get to know each other a little better and figure out who's better at what tasks, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing with raising a child. Really, is mom's going to be better at certain things with the child, and dad's going to be better with certain other things. Part of the process is just learning, who's better at what, and learning from each other too. Why's mom? Why is mom better at this? And then I would observe how she handles certain things, and we would learn from each other in the process of learning on our own.
So, I can have my own sense of this as well, but like I'm curious to your take. What things do you think mom was better at that you learned from, and what do you think you were better at that mom learned from? If that's okay to ask.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, from being an infant, it's one thing, where like she was just, she knew how to, how to just the basic things, the feeding and the changing the diapers and the, and stuff like that. And then, just, and again, we kind of learn, we kind of figured it out together, and it brings conflict. We would have a disagreement about how you do this or how you do that, but and then maybe I was better, as you were growing up, I was better at uh, being fun, I guess, like doing fun things, doing activities. Uh, you know, uh, I I like to, sit down and I remember sitting there watching the TV shows with you, or just playing silly games. Remember playing the Barbie dolls and stuff like that, and just putting
Yeah,
those.
they would like beat
Yeah,
the shit out of each other.
we had concert Barbie and like and like and what happened? Ken got in trouble by the security guard or
No.
something, and I think he got in a fight with the security guard over a camera or something like that. There was a whole kerfuffle there. We had a whole scenario, but
A whole
yeah.
kerfluffle is right.
And why do we? How do we? I don't know. And then we still remember this to this day. That was like
Yeah.
100 years ago. It's crazy,
And
but
and then remember when you were like mom was like, make sure she studies for her science test. And you were like, oh, yeah, I will. And one of the words was fulcrum, which is the base of a lever. And rather than studying, we played the Harry Potter video game. Except every time we pulled the lever, you'd be like, lever,
lever,
fulcrum.
fulcrum. Yeah.
That's like the only thing I got right on the test.
You got me.
Worth it though. Totally worth it. We fucking 100%ed that bitch.
Yeah,
um
yeah. Yeah, the
let's
concert Barbie. Yeah, that was cool. The Falcon, V Falcon there. The concert Barbie. He said that was the coolest Barbies I've ever heard of. They were. Yeah, they had a rock concert. I think Ken might have started mosh pit or something too, or
No, you know
maybe he
what?
was stage diving or something. I can't remember.
No, I didn't have a Ken doll for a really long time until I had Bride Barbie, and like I tried to have a wedding with Bride Barbie, but like I didn't have a Ken doll, so I just had her be on the phone with Ken. And then that's whenever you like Aunt Missy, I think, took me shopping for a Ken doll so I could have a Barbie wedding.
Yeah, it was probably like a concert Barbie, but the Ken was like an ordinary Ken. He was like totally out of place, like a dude that just won the tickets on the radio station or something like that, and he dragged him along, and of course Ken was not very socially adept, and of course. ended up getting in the fight with the security and everything. But,
Barbie was
ordeal.
doing flips and just smacking the security guard. And
Yeah.
we still have like inside jokes to this day of like so many things from my childhood. Like I would always we'd be playing I'd be like a little kid playing GTA, like asking if this was a good enough car to steal. And like the triangle button was the button to steal a car, and we just shortened it to like I'd be like triangle and you'd be like triangle. And then as I got
Yeah, and then we'd
older,
start doing that. We'd be like driving down the highway, and we'd see like, like a Corvette or something. Right? She'd look over at me, Dad, triangle. We're like in real life, like figuring
yeah.
out which cars we were going to steal.
Oh God, that's fucking. I love those memories. As a matter of fact, Louis the Claw isn't here tonight, but he said that he was like pretty jealous that I had a dad who would play video games with me, because it's like, you know, his parents never play video games. So I don't take that for granted. I'm really lucky that you would play those games with me. You would take me to concerts. You took me to my first concert when I was 12. We went to see 3 Days Grace. You took me to see
Yeah,
Dio, Judas Priest, Ozzy, Iron Maiden, fucking Black Sabbath,
yeah,
fucking 6 a.m. Styx, uh, yeah, Slayer.
yeah. Yeah, I remember that Stick show. I was so mad. We went to that show. We went to the
No, no, no,
beach,
Dennis
and then
DeYoung.
we came back to go to the Six show in Pittsburgh, and then it started raining. It was at the casino.
No, that was Dennis DeYoung.
Or Dennis DeYoung. You're right. You're right. It was Dennis DeYoung. Well, it was the same thing, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then they
Um.
rained out the show, and they were like, "Yeah, sorry." They played like four songs, and they're like, and then it just rained, and we're hanging around for like an hour, and they're like, yeah, so that's the end of the show. We got rained out. Sorry." And we're like, "Okay, cool. What about our money?" They're like, "You're beat." Yeah.
Oh, and I was just thinking about this because I remember I like cried because I really wanted to see Dennis DeYoung, and like I just made me think, uh like a couple years ago we were out to eat and I was eating I got something with green peppers on it, and you were like, "You're eating green peppers? Do you remember that time I ordered a stromboli with green peppers on it and you cried?" And I was like, "No, how old was I?" And you were like 16.
Like, yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah.
So to my questions. Um, what other challenges did you face raising an unplanned child?
Well, so when you have a child, it makes it challenging because so I remember interviewing for a new job at the time, lawn care service, and telling I was getting hired, and I told the employer, I said, "Hey, I have a daughter, and I my my wife works at a certain time in the evening, and I need to be able to, uh, to pick her up, and so my wife can go to work." And he said, "Well, sorry, I don't think it's going to work out then, because I can't guarantee you what time you're going to get off work." And so I said, "Okay, well, so I'll have to figure that out." So we ended up working that out, and that's why you ended up spending uh, early evening with your pap app there, because I would always end up working late.
Oh, I guess I
And
never
so we
knew. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, so that was one of the, yeah, because remember, your mom had to go work the bingo hall, and so you would be at his house until I got off work, and then I'd come up and hang out there for a little bit, and then bring you home. But so so that was one challenge, just figuring out where you're gonna go, what's or who's gonna babysit while we're at work. And so that was that was one of the big things. But I mean, there was just the challenges. I mean, it's so hard to. I can't even summarize that in a couple sentences, because there's just so many challenges. There's a lot of different things that you've got to deal with throughout, not just young childhood or infancy, but through school. You've got things with school to deal with, and uh, you know, you might remember this the one time the school bus. You rode the school bus back in early on there, first, second, kindergarten, first grade, and the school bus had an accident on the way home, and then they just dropped you off, and nobody ever told us anything. We found out after the fact, and so that was the end of you riding a school bus. And so we ended up carpooling with somebody else to get you with when you started going to West End Catholic, I think it was, or almost maybe. We carpooled with CJ's parents.
Yeah.
You know, but so there's I'll say logistical challenges. I'll call them logistical challenges. So that's one category. But just there's a lot of, you will have disagreement among parents about what you eat, how you do this, how I mean, there's a just an endless number of different decisions that need to be made about a child, and both parents have to, you know, there's opportunities for conflict here in the relationship because of that, because parents will disagree over what where you should go to school, or or how you should dress, or what, I mean, there's just a million different things, that definitely make it it just makes a relationship challenging, um, in the process, because there's so many decisions that need to be made that affect the child. The most important thing in our lives is our child, and so we are going to have disagreement. Any parent, I think, is going to have disagreement about things, and it's definitely a challenge, when you have disagreement and there's two different opinions, or two different people that have to figure that out, what's best for the child or their child. And so just a million different decisions, and just like I said, the logistical challenges of just deciding what's best for your child, and then doing those things, and then sometimes realizing that you maybe made a mistake, and that wasn't the right decision, and then deciding how to change things. So it's an endless it's an endless number of challenges, to be honest.
Did how was it when I was a teenager as far as your guys' disagreements went? I mean, that was you guys got divorced when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a difference in, okay, I'm in your household for a week. Okay, I'm at mom's household for a week. Um, how how was it in raising me as a teenager? Did you feel like you had some more freedom in raising me because I was at your house sometimes? Did you feel like you kind of had a break for a week? Like what was or even whenever I was 14 and you guys were living together, like can you tell me some about my teenage years and parenting or parallel
Yeah.
parenting, whatever?
Well, again, it doesn't get any easier. I mean, there's in some aspects of parenting, things, yes, as your child gets a little older, and I don't know if is anybody on our group here, is anybody parents yet?
Um
Um, it's but if you aren't, maybe you aren't, or maybe if you're not, or if you are, or maybe you will be someday. But um, there's there's parenting doesn't, that's your job for life. That job doesn't end. First of all, it, even when your kids grown up and moved out on their own and everything, but it became there's more challenge. So certain things are easier, you know, when the baby's no long when the baby's potty trained, and then you don't have to carry a diaper bag and lug this whole, you know, bag of all this stuff that you need for the kid. uh so yeah, that part's easy, but then you got other things, you know, then the kid's 4 or 5 years old, and then you got to watch, and you know, for their safety, because they want to get into everything, they want to run into the street, you know, without looking, and they want to climb up into all kinds of stuff in the house, and so you have those kind of challenges. And then as they get older, you might not have to worry about them getting into the cupboards so much, because then they've learned what not to get into and things like that. They've learned finally that they don't run out into the street without looking. And so that part's easy, but then you get new challenges, you know, then you get, when you get into the teenage years, then you have teenagers, and they have emotional uh, problems. They have conflicts in school, you know, whether it's with other students, or with their teachers, or with bullying, or trouble with their homework. Um, so it's a whole new set of challenges. As you overcome the earlier challenges, then you always get new ones, and it just evolves, you know. And as you overcome some of those, you know, and maybe you get through the bullying, or maybe you get through the school issues, and then it's something else, you know. And then next thing you know, you're searching for colleges, and then you've got that whole thing. So
And then your
it's
daughter asks you to be on your Twitch stream and you have to figure out how to download
you
Discord.
got you got to figure all that out, you know. And here she's, you know. So yeah, it's an evolution of challenges that, you know, you overcome, but then you always get new ones, you know. And it's just like, I guess, anything else that you do. It's like in a career or whatever you do, you know, you're always going to be challenged, and that's just life. That's what makes life interesting. And you know, because if you figured all this stuff out, and it was just the same after that, and you never faced any new challenges, life would get kind of boring. So it keeps things interesting, keeps you motivated, but there are definitely new challenges at every stage of life that you have to face. It,
Yeah. I
you know,
oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
no, that's all.
Um
I see there's a question, somebody.
yeah, the Lake 999 says, "Did you always see yourself as being a parent? Was it something you felt you were prepared for, or did you find yourself feeling it out as you played out?" So did you want to be a parent prior to I think um
Yeah.
you knew you wanted to be a parent someday?
Well, uh, uh, so a little bit of both. I mean, I did see feeling it out as it played out, but so before Danny, I'm going to call her Danielle because that's what I call her. I don't care if you don't like it.
No,
So
you're fine.
before before Danielle came along, I had my niece Lisa. Okay, and so when I was 15, Lisa was born. I was 15 years old, and I didn't. She lived with her mom and dad in Korea. My brother was in the army, and he was stationed in Korea. So that's where he met his wife, and they had a child. And I was 15 when she was born, and but she eventually came here to live when she was about 3, when she was very young, and so then I was about 18. So I ended up spending. I was just at the point where I was living at home still. I just moved out. I moved out of my parents' house when I was like 18 and a half, and then would still come home and visit. You know, I moved out of town for a little while. I would still come home and visit, and I would spend a lot of
Mhm.
time with Lisa. And so I started learning like how much fun it was to have a kid around and to play with her, take her places, and do things. And so that, I think that kind of prepared me a little bit for parenthood, of the joys of parenthood, so to speak, because it was fun having her around. You know, we do all kind of stuff together, and I was still kind of young enough that I could, be goofy and silly, and you know play games and do stuff, and so that's sort of prepared me a little bit as far as the relationship, maybe the relationship aspect, I guess, of with child, number one, and then the responsibility too. I mean, yes, by the time Lisa came along, obviously we didn't have to worry about potty training and all that stuff. Thank goodness. Uh, but like I'd take her. We used to go to this place called Show. It was Show Place Pizza, and they had those. You go and they had the stage there, and those people dressed the whatever they were dressed in costumes and they do dancing and singing and stuff like that, and video games. And I would take her up there, and we do things like that. I'd take her out to do fun things, and so that was like the fun. And I learned the fun aspect, I guess, of parenting, sort of that way, just by spending time with her, and but also, I had to look out for her safety. I had to hold her hand and make sure she didn't run out into the street or something. I had to make sure she didn't get out of my sight. Uh, I mean, you've got a kid. That kid's got to be on your sight at all times. You can't let them just go wander off. There's no like time out. When you're out, especially out in public somewhere where, oh yeah, I'm just going to take a break from being a parent. You're responsible for this child.
Yeah.
And you can't just let them go run off. So I kind of learned uh, that kind of prepared me for it. But at the same time, I I don't know if I don't really know. I don't know if I saw myself as being a parent, to be honest with you, at that young age. I didn't even think about it. I could probably say I had no thought I just didn't think about becoming a parent. I wasn't even, I wasn't married yet. We just didn't think about it,
Huh.
but at the same time, I think spending time with my niece, uh, uh, up until then, somewhat prepared me for it.
I actually never knew that. I mean, there was other stuff you said in this that I didn't know, but um, yeah, I didn't realize how Lisa helped prepare you for that. And to your credit and to mom's credit, I never got lost in a Walmart or parking lot or whatever. But when I was under Nana's care, there was one time that I went missing at the village.
Oh boy.
You
You
knew
know what
about
they
that.
say, it takes a village.
Ha! Takes a village
I,
to raise a baby.
I know that was totally a dad joke. I'm pretty good at that. But anyhow, yeah.
um,
So that's, but yeah, I would say it was leaning more towards
Londonderry
towards
Danny.
yeah, leaning more towards feeling it out as it played out. But I think my love for my child is what helps me figure it out. It's just like, and again, not to trivialize it, but it's like if you have a pet and you take your dog for a walk, you're not gonna, you're gonna make sure you look out for them, and it's gonna come naturally. Some of it just that you're a parental instinct, because the first priority is to protect your child, and take care of them. So some of it's sort of instinctive, and some of it you kind of figure it out, and you make mistakes along the way, and you learn from them.
I really like that, and I think you did a good job. I turned out pretty damn well. In my humble opinion. Um, but
I think you did all right.
did you say you think you did all right, or you think I did all right?
I said I think we did all right.
Oh, okay. I was gonna be like, hang on. Legendary Danny says 10 out of 10. I believe he's still referring to your sick dad joke.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
um, what were or are the most rewarding things about parenthood despite it being unplanned?
Well, you know, I think any parent will tell you, and I will tell you that the most rewarding thing is just watching your kids grow and watching them become, as they grow into an adulthood, and watching them become their own person. Uh, I think that's the most rewarding, because you can't just, when you have a young child and you kind of try to teach them everything and how to behave around certain people and how to react to certain things, and then there gets to a point where they're an adult and actually they can think for themselves and they have their own ideas, and I think that's the most rewarding thing, is just watching them grow and learn on their own and becoming their own person, instead of just an extension of you or a reflection of their parents. So I think that would be the most rewarding, and and it is most rewarding. Very
Uh,
proud of you.
Thank you, Dad. And I appreciate how often you tell me that you're proud of me. It means a lot. What kind of things subverted your expectations about the person that I grew up to be, having known me for so long?
So it's 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 hard to explain. It's just like you're your own person. Like I can't like look at something and say, oh, that's what I would have done, or oh yeah, that's my girl. She's doing. It's more like, no, that's you. Like you're your own person, instead of like an extension of me. I mean, in some ways, I mean, we share personality traits, uh, and things like that. But but I think that's the neatest thing, is that you took you took the things that you were interested in, and I mean, you my gosh, you were how old? 5, 6, and you said, "Hey, I want to be an animator when I grow up," and look what the hell you did. You went to school, and you did that, and that's pretty admirable. And I don't think too many people can say that about themselves. That, hey, what I wanted to do when I was a kid, I ended up doing as an adult. So so it's quite impressive.
Thank you, Dad.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, definitely ask away. And you were always very supportive, whenever I became a comedian, you came to how many of my shows, and I would make jokes about you and you would laugh about them. We would turn them into inside jokes, and you're always a good sport about it. And yeah, Legendary Danny says, "What should I eat for breakfast?" You gonna give him your egg sandwich recipe?
My $8 sandwich. You know what? That's a great question, and I will give you a suggestion. It's actually if you have time. Now, what should you eat? Hey, you got to eat what you like. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to recommend something to you. It's a nice, easy breakfast. Okay, we get these bagels, and I get like the everything bagels with like all those seeds all over them and stuff. Okay, and you get them cut in half, set it in a toaster, and then I take some of that Pam, that what Pam is, that spray that you spray
Oh,
and
I thought
to
you
cook
said, "Do
with.
you know what ham is?" I was gonna be like, "Dad, I
Pam,
think
yeah, yeah,
Pam." Okay.
yeah, that cooking spray stuff. Okay, you spray that into a little bowl, microwave safe bowl. Okay, and then you crack 2 eggs. The extra egg. This is how I come up with the $8 formula, by the way. The extra egg is $1 extra if I was selling it. You put 2 eggs in there, and you mix them up. I add a little bit of seasoning, little dash of garlic powder, little bit of pepper and some basil, maybe a dash of salt if you like that sort of thing. And then we'll make some bacon in the microwave.
So
Okay,
everything's
or sausage,
microwaved.
or what's that?
So you got microwave eggs and microwaved bacon.
Yeah, so the egg, I put the little plastic thing on top of it so it doesn't splatter all over the microwave. So I set that aside. I cook my bacon, okay, first, and I get that all cooked. Or breakfast sausage. You get the little patties.
I
Okay?
like how this is. I feel like this is where I inherited my lazy cooking skills of microwaving literally everything.
And oh yeah, but you'll never know that it was microwave. Like I'm telling you, it's one of the best breakfast sandwiches you'll ever have,
Well, you
guaranteed.
haven't had
Okay,
mine, but we could
and
fight
then
about that
and
later.
then you put a little bit of butter on your knife, and you put that in the edge of the bowl where the eggs are. You let that butter just for flavor. Okay, and then you cook that, and then you cover that with plastic wrap. You put that after you cook your bacon or your sausage, and then you set those aside. Okay, put the egg in, and you put that in the microwave for 1 minute and 15 seconds for a 1200-watt microwave.
How
Okay,
much
1 minute
weed
and
butter
15
should he
seconds.
put into this?
No, oh no, I don't really do wake and bake. Maybe if I'm on vacation or something. But anyhow, uh, did you say weed butter?
Yes. You
Okay,
know what? Wait,
yeah,
what's that?
no.
You knew what I said
Oh
because you said
wait,
you don't wake and bake.
somebody said a world famous chili. Did you tell them about my world famous chili? Oh my. Okay, we got to back up.
Okay,
Now I got
wait,
all kinds
Dad,
of
just
questions.
wait, just Dad,
Let me
just
focus on the breakfast. Let me
Nikki
focus
the
on the
Claw, what have
breakfast.
you done? Okay, wait,
What?
just you guys, what have you done? Okay, uh,
It's okay. It's okay. This is cool. Okay.
but
So I
okay,
cook the egg.
wait,
I
Dad.
toast the
Okay, wait,
thing
wait.
while the eggs are cooking. Let me finish this quick because we're getting too sidetracked. I put the sausage on the bagel after it's cooked. You butter the bagel, the everything bagel. You put the sausage on, or you put your egg on, and then you put the sausage patties, and you put the bacon, and oh, and you melt cheese. I forgot. Once you take the eggs out of the microwave, you put a piece of cheese on it, and it melts naturally while you're prepping all the other stuff and buttering the bagel. And that's my $8 breakfast sandwich. So you can either have it with bacon or sausage, breakfast sausage.
Thank you
So
for
that's
sharing.
breakfast.
Wait,
How
okay,
did
no, no, no,
you
no,
help
don't,
Shorty
no,
Pop out
no.
becoming an animator?
Okay, yes, answer
The
that one.
next question is, how did you help Shorty Pop out on becoming an animator? Did you help her pursue that as soon as she said that, or was it more? So by the time she had to start shopping for college in high school, when she was like 10th grade, 11th grade, I guess, right? We start looking at schools, and so we started looking at schools with art programs and animation programs and stuff. And a lot of people when they have kids that want to get into some type of art field, I see the little emoji down there that looks like me, by the way.
Oh
But
yeah,
anyhow,
classic.
a lot of people try to talk their kids and, oh yeah, but you should do something as a backup. Why don't you go into art education, or why don't you go into this? And then because you might not be able. And I encouraged her to follow her dreams and go major in what she wanted to do and follow through on it. And so that's how I supported her. That's how I helped her pursue it. Uh, I encouraged her to, you know, she went to school. She majored in animation. She didn't major in art education or something that she didn't want to as a backup. She went all in on it, and I supported her 100%.
Thank you,
So
Dad.
to answer your question there.
I really appreciate that. Pap was also supportive of me being an artist. You know, he said like if that's what you want to go to school for, like I support that. And so I'm really glad to have a supportive family. I know that Mom had some concerns about me like whenever I was a kid and had said that I wanted to go to school for art. She's like, well, what do you want as a backup plan? And like, after I got out of school, I went to school to be an EMT because that was sort of like my backup plan. But guess what? While I was working as an EMT, before I even started my job as an EMT, I got an offer for an internship as an animator. So I basically did that while I was working as an EMT. And yeah, so I got sort of a backup plan, but because of you, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to put myself through college by myself. I didn't know the first thing about research in colleges. You took me to check out the Edinburgh campus. You helped me
And the
with,
others.
what's that?
I said, and the other schools, not just one, but yeah,
Oh
we went
yeah.
to Art Institute,
Oh
PTI.
yeah. And there was that yeah. I'll tell you.
But anyhow,
We'll talk about that later. But how do you feel about the two-parent household dynamic? Says the lake. Like, do you think parents in a household need to have defined roles? Like, moms need to be nurturing or dads need to be strong? Those are examples. Or can any gender fulfill these roles? Good question, the lake. Dad?
all right. Well, first of all, I'm afraid that somebody's going to comment, and I don't know how to scroll up. So back to this world famous chili thing.
Dad, just.
Before we,
Oh no.
before we get too far ahead, I'm not going to get into the details, but yes, I do have a world famous chili recipe, and I started it when I was younger. My mom actually gave me the my mom actually gave me the basic recipe of chili. 1 pound ground beef, 2 cans kidney beans, whatever. Okay, I won't bore you with all that. And then that evolved into I'm going to add these kind of peppers and these kind of spices. And I had such a long name for the chili, the recipe. It was like the world famous high end bet. Like it was this whole name for my chili. So it not only was it a world famous, but it had a name that was so long. Like if I sold it, you wouldn't even be able to fit the name on the package. So anyhow, to answer the chili recipe, yes, I am. Apparently, that's a typical dad thing. I didn't know that, but yes, I do have a chili recipe.
I didn't
Okay.
mean to minimize it. I just
Yeah, yeah.
wanted to
So
keep
we're
the
just going
conversation
chili
moving.
detour. Yeah, chili detour. That's right. London Berry. Oh, Danny boy. Okay. So anyhow, the late night. How do you feel about the two-parent household dynamic? Like, do you think parents in a household need to have defined roles, like moms need to be nurturing and dads need to be strong? Uh, okay, so yes, you know, it it certainly. I don't know. I know I wouldn't want to raise a child by myself. That would be tough. And I'm not saying somebody shouldn't. Lots of people do it all the time. My mom raised, four. My parents were divorced when I was 5 years old, and my mom raised us from there on out on her own, and and I can't even imagine how challenging that was. But so two-parent household, I am an advocate for that. I would say it's definitely a plus when you have two parents raising a child. I think regardless, no matter what, if look, couples break up or get divorced or separated or maybe never married in the first place, and I think it's the duty of both parents to be a parent of your child. And I don't really have respect for anybody that would abandon their child and not be the parent to them and be in their life. Not only financial support, but actually being there for them and sharing parenting. And I think it's sad when that doesn't happen, or if maybe one parent is restrictive to the other and doesn't allow them to see the child, uh, or maybe one parent's abusive and they deserve not to. I think it's just a sad scenario when that happens. I think both parents that there should definitely be two parents, and I think when you have them all in a household, if it's a healthy relationship, and I will, uh, again, we're going to digress here on a whole other subject here, but by Danielle's mother and I, we had a rocky relationship, and it wasn't necessarily perfectly healthy, and we fought a lot, and that wasn't healthy for her to see or her to be around. Uh, but I did my best to stick it out as long as I could because I wanted to be there in her life, even though I wasn't happy in my marriage. Uh, I stuck it out as long as I could up until she was a teenager, um, in order to make sure that I was in her life every day and part of her life. And I'd do that and make that sacrifice all over again. It's very difficult, and I don't know. People can argue one way or the other whether it's the right thing to do, but in my opinion, it was the right thing to do, and I would do it all over again. So, but as far as like moms need to be nurturing, dads need to be strong, for example, absolutely, absolutely, 100%. And I'm sure Danny will tell you the same thing that sometimes mom was a little more understanding with her feelings about things, and maybe I wasn't. Maybe I'm more of a results oriented type person. Like sometimes it's hard to take feelings into consideration in certain situations, and I want to be more like, look, this is a simple problem that can be solved, and sometimes mothers are more nurturing and able to listen a little better. So that is absolutely true. And can either gender fulfill those roles? Absolutely, absolutely. And you have single parents that raise children all the time, so they have to fill those roles, whether they like it or not. So yes, either gender can fulfill those roles, whether it's a two uh, parent household or whether it's a single parent household. Definitely, and everybody. But like I said, everybody has their strengths and the weaknesses, and I think in a parenting situation, you need to learn from each other. If you're a father, if you're parents of a child, and the father lacks in certain skills that the mother's better, I think it's the father's duty to to learn from the mother, from her strengths of what she does better. And I think it's the mother's duty to learn from the father and what he does better as well. At least try their best. Not saying that everyone's perfect, but I think uh, that's how it works.
I love that answer. And even as from the perspective, ooh, 1 second. I should have plugged in that before. Even from the perspective of being your daughter, I can see that, both you and mom have grown, not just, me growing as a person, but seeing the people that you and mom have grown to become from the people that I knew when I was a kid. I'm thoroughly impressed with both of you, and I am so thankful for the relationship that I have with both of you. And I think over the years, um, that relationship has just for with both of you has just gotten stronger and stronger. And I know not a lot of people can say that about their parents, but I'm really grateful, and I could see how much you've worked to grow to be the person you are and to have the relationship that you have with me, and with the dynamic I have with mom as well. Like, sometimes it can be hard for us to see eye to eye on some things, but eventually I think we get to a good point, like you've come to learn, hey, if I need space, then I need space, and you've learned to accept that and give me space when I need it, and that's improved our relationship. And I've worked on, not being snippy and whatnot.
Sure. Yes, and absolutely, and we definitely. There's no doubt we grew. We grew in the process, as you were. There's no doubt, and just when you're in your 20s and maybe you graduated after you graduate college or whatever, and you think you know everything. Guess what? You do not. You're always learning and you're always growing, uh, no matter how old you are. So I agree with that.
Do you think you'd be the person you are today if you didn't have me in your life?
No, nope, not at all. I don't know where I'd be. I'd probably be in jail or who knows where. Who knows what kind of stupidity I would have gotten involved in. Having you really, really forced me to grow up really quickly.
That means a lot.
Yep.
Do you guys have any other questions? That meant a lot to hear that.
I'm not sharing my chili recipe, so don't even ask.
Oh shit. Okay. See, I like how that's where he draws the line. Okay, you can ask him personal questions. You ask him for his fucking chili recipe, he's coming after you.
Oh, Chad the alpha male says he's got a ton of questions.
First
No,
time
this is
chat
not.
from viewer.
Okay. And no, this has not been very good. What are your thoughts on
No,
the
he
red
said no.
pill?
This has been very good. He
Oh,
didn't
okay.
say this has not been very. He said this
Oh,
has
this
been
has
very
been
good.
very good. Okay.
Yeah. Also, hi,
The red
Chad, the
pill
alpha male.
ideology.
Um,
Okay, educate me on this. What's the red pill ideology?
that's like. Well, wait. First of all, real quick, Chad the Alpha Male, hello. Thank you so much for joining today. Curious how you found the channel. We are gonna wrap up soon, but I'd love to hear any questions you have. Hi. um, I think the red pill ideology, I can already tell you that my dad would be thoroughly against that as a passionate Democrat who scaled the side of his house to mount a Hillary sign and then mounted a spotlight and then canvassed for countless hours to get Hillary.
Installed a spotlight. Don't forget, I electrocuted myself in the process.
I didn't know that. And then you scaled the neighbor's tree to cut chunks of it out so that the Hillary sign would be visible. So without even explaining to you what the red pill ideology is, I can already tell the chat he would be against that just right then and there. We don't have to dive into that, but
Okay.
um I googled most beautiful Twitch streamer, and you were the first result. Well, I think
Aw,
that.
that's sweet.
Thank you. I think. Oh no, wait. Where's the ferrets? I was gonna say. I think Scout and Buckles are some pretty beautiful Twitch streamers. They're my ferrets. Um, thank you for the kind words. So yeah. That was a very smooth response. Okay, more specifically, what are your thoughts on men versus women in divorce disputes? Do you think it's men have it harder? Fuck yeah, men have it harder. I mean, my dad and my mom did not have to go to court because I was 15 when they got divorced, so they were just like, "Yo, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "I'll go back and forth." Well, actually, it was mom's suggestion to go back and forth because I like didn't know how to handle that question because that was like a lot because I didn't want to hurt either person's feelings and I loved both of you. So it was really hard for me to be faced with that question of, well, who do you want to live with? So it was a big relief that mom was like, it's an option to go back and forth each week. But absolutely, it is 100% more difficult um, to for any men. I've heard of this from divorce lawyers. I've heard of this from people who are in that situation. Definitely, men have it 1,000 times harder. And from what I watched of a TED talk about from a divorce lawyer, she said like, you know, women, sure, they know the principals' names, the teachers' names, the doctors' names, but the dads know what's their favorite superhero, what's their favorite game, what's their favorite like. It's kind of in line with what you had
Okay.
said, Dad, about a lot of the nurturing versus
Yeah,
fun
and listen, I
aspects.
will say, I don't, just if I may
Yeah.
interject uh, with that question, do you think men have it harder? I think that's a case by case thing, in my opinion. I think it totally depends on the situation of the couple, why they got divorced, what are the, how they decided to get divorced. Are they amicable, or or is it are they in a real hateful situation where they're fighting? Do they, does the mother want to be more restrictive and fight for full custody and not let the father be in the child's life, or vice versa? It could, I imagine it could be difficult for either side. And I could tell you it wasn't easy. It sure as hell wasn't easy. It was very, very difficult. But at the same time, there were It was difficult, I think, more emotionally than anything. Um, Fortunately for us, when we went through divorce, we kind of agreed on a lot of things. We really didn't fight over uh, who gets this and who gets that. And honestly, I did. When it really came down to it, I didn't really care about stuff. If that makes sense. I mean, we kind of worked
Yeah.
out how who's keeping the house or whose house. You know, I'll buy you out of this, and you could take this furniture, and I'll take that, and we worked all that out. So as far as the disputes, there wasn't too many disputes there. We were able to work everything out without court intervention or going through attorneys and everything, which was very good. And I would recommend everybody to try to do, if you were in that situation where you had to go through a divorce. I would recommend that you do everything that you possibly can to work out any differences, because if you have to go through attorneys, it's just going to cost you a fortune, and
Yeah.
it's probably not really worth going through all that if you could just work it out. And what's more important than any material possessions is the relationship you have to your child or your children, and that's number one priority. And when it really comes down to it, uh, in my opinion, and I think it just for anybody, that's more important than any material things. And so disputes over related to your child or your children, that's the difficult part, because there's uh, there's an emotional aspect to it that makes it very, very difficult. And we decided to do shared custody. And so like we talked about earlier, where Danielle went to her mother for 1 week and went to me for 1 week. And you touched on that before and asked if it was like if I had a break or something. And maybe in a little sense, but it was lonely too. It was tough. It was like an emotional roller coaster, you know.
Yeah.
So it I don't know if I don't know if either men or women have it harder. I imagine I don't know if it's fair to say one or the other has it harder. I think it's a difficult situation the whole way around. If
What
if you're fully invested, in your relationship with your children, particularly.
I'd like to take a moment before we I think that's a I'm stepping away from the camera for just a moment. I loved all of your answers, and I want to take a moment to find something actually, like in speaking about the divorce and my teenage years and maintaining the relationship that we had. There is something that I would like to pull up, if I may. Um, Whenever you and I were going through a very rocky time in our relationship because the divorce was really hard on me, I know that I did not treat you the best at some points because I was very stressed out about things. But I went to, being raised Catholic, I went to a religious retreat, and you and mom independently wrote me letters
Mm-hmm.
to send to me, and I still have that letter. See how quick I even brought that up? I know
Wow.
exactly where it is. I still have it to this day.
Aw.
And yeah, I do. It means a lot to me. It says, "Danielle, I love you because deep down you are the sweetest girl in the world. I love how we can talk together just about anything, whether it's something serious like school or work, or about something silly like when we make up stories and play out scenarios together. I enjoy spending time with you no matter what it is. Working together in the garden, riding in the truck listening to music, riding our bicycles, playing video games, or shopping at the mall. No matter what we do together, it is always fun because you like to be silly and laugh about the smallest things. You make me feel like a kid again. I love the way you always draw me pictures and how you always write thoughtful and loving comments on them. You are the most creative person I know, and I enjoy seeing all the interesting ideas ideas you come up with for art projects, stories, and comics. I love taking you to concerts and seeing the smile on your face while you are watching the bands play. I love teaching you new things and seeing your look of amazement and fascination in learning. I don't say this enough, but I'm very proud of everything you do and of the young lady you are becoming. Thank you for being such a wonderful daughter. Love, Dad. Uh, 3 2 2010.
Um,
So I still have that after all this time.
yep, and I still feel that way. That's really cool. I'm really happy that you saved that. That's neat.
Yeah, I love you, Dad.
Love you.
Chad Zilch says hello, everyone. Chad, we're just about to end here, but thank
Got a
you so
latecomer.
much.
You're gonna have to watch. You missed all the fun, Chad. So we
Aw.
got two Chads. So there's Chad 1 and Chad 2. Chad the Alpha Male is Chad 1 because he was here first. But
Oh, but
Chad, oh, but he's Chad Zilch, so that would be Chad 0, I guess. So. But anyhow, Chad, welcome, and you'll have to watch and you see all the fun that you missed out and watch the playback, I guess.
actually, technically, Chad Zilch should be Chad 1 because he was my first subscriber
Oh,
to the
oh, okay.
channel. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
so he's the OG Chad. Huh.
he's the OG Chad.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
All right. All
I'll
due
check out
respect.
the.
And thanks, Chad, for we're interested. Can you comment on these things after the fact that if you watch the recording?
You can comment. I think there's like a short period of time after I end the stream you can comment, but this will be on YouTube as well, so people will be able to comment in the YouTube channel, chat, comments.
Nice.
Well,
Well,
what's that?
that it's been fun. Thanks everyone for joining in.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate hearing your comments, and I really liked this talk too. It brought some tears to my eye. I love you very much, Dad.
Oh, love you, sweetheart.
All right. Well, guys, that is the end of the Twitch stream for tonight. I'll catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow's topic is going to be about how to have a good relationship. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys. See you tomorrow, at the same time, and take care.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks for the interview, Shorty Pop and Shorty Dad. Aw.
Shorty dad.
I love that. All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.